Don't forget that this episode is sponsored very generously by M3 Virtual Accounting. Molly Morris is my personal and professional accountant and has really helped me navigate all the ins and outs of the United States tax system, which is orchestrated to make us as irritated as possible. And if you are looking for some help, either personally or professionally, get in touch with her. Just talk. She has a totally free first-time meetup to go through what it is you're looking for and see if she can help you out. It's m3virtualaccounting.com for a free consult, and tell her I sent you. This is an Unspoiled Network podcast. This is Some Spoiled, covering House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1, A Son for a Son. In this episode, we get to watch a baby being murdered. Yay! In their crib, for God's sake. By somebody who also had just kicked a dog. What a way to start the season. Welcome to Unspoiled. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
I'm Rashawn.
Alrighty, here we go.
We're back. We are back.
I'm really excited that we're getting to record after the episode like so soon. It just has a totally different vibe when we're able to do it this fast. You know?
I'm excited about this switcheroo.
Another switcheroo.
Right?
I love that.
We're getting an inception of switcheroos.
So how do you feel this is for the first episode of the next season?
I really enjoyed. I cannot express, like, I talk a lot of shit, especially as we're covering the books. But the minute I hear this theme music, I am so fucking invested. It is ridiculous. It makes no sense, especially, considering the way that Game of Thrones ended and that last season. I should not be this excited, but there I was, on the couch, kicking my feet, bobbing along to this fucking theme music. We're so excited to be back. We've got same theme song, but new opening credits. They're doing like this tapestry effect.
Embroidery sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And it was so different from what I was expecting and different from anything that they've ever done with these credits for this universe. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of cool.
I actually went and watched these separately because you were waiting for me to start because we were going to watch together in text, and I was running behind because guess what? I've lost track of time. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so I skipped the credits initially because I was just like, I know the credits, it's fine. And then later on, somebody was like, oh, new credits. And I was like, God damn it, I fucking skipped them. I gotta go back. So yeah, but it is really neat. I was sort of thinking that they might do because what I heard was, oh, new credits, the embroidery thing is cool. And so what I was picturing was like a sort of a sewing needle type thing, but the thread is sort of moving independent of anything, already like woven into place and just falling into the fabric. And it's it's really neat looking. It's like a wave of fibers.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. I like it. I like the switch up.
Yeah.
And then just the overall episode, I enjoyed most of it. And it was just good to be back. The fucking opening, we get like a voiceover before we understand exactly where we are and where we're going. We're just like following this raven, and then you realize you're flying to the wall. And I was like, is that what? Why is Jon Snow talking?
Oh God, I feel like he'd be mad if he heard you say that he sounded like this guy. I was saying to Rashawn that it sounds like when Owen tries to do Jon Snow, like imitate him. But he's like not really trying to imitate too hard. And it was a little distracting because I may be wrong and this may be the guy's actual accent, but it felt for me like somebody who has maybe a different type of British accent who was attempting to go for Northern. And even if it is the real accent, I just found it a little distracting because it's so self-serious as well that the combo just was a little bit like, okay, everybody calm down. But we're following a raven in and hearing the duty is a sacrifice. It eclipses all things, even blood. And we are up here at Winterfell and then the wall. We go past Winterfell, right? To the wall?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a flashback at Winterfell of like them pulling the ice and then whoever gets the coal is the one that is going to do their duty at the wall, but we don't actually stop at Winterfell for like the story itself.
I don't remember this being mentioned in the books, this process. It may very well be canon, but do you remember this being mentioned?
Girl, no.
Okay.
But that is more of a reflection on me and not anything about the written source material.
I mean, it may very well be. I just don't recall because a lot of the way the wall is manned has changed.
Yeah. Like
time,
I was definitely familiar with the idea that it used to be an honor to, men took it very seriously and all that stuff. But this idea of like how you chose which son of the family was going to be the one to take the duty of serving at the wall, being the sort of short straw sort of methodology. I don't remember specifically being mentioned, but also this guy that's playing Stark. Is it Kragan Stark?
That sounds right. I feel like that was on my little subtitles here for a sec.
They're going for like, and I even said it to you when we were texting. I'm like, okay, so he's giving like a little Ned Stark, right? Like,
yeah, definitely a little bit. Yeah, and he's in this. What do we call this? Winch.
Mm-hmm.
With Prince Jace. We have to really work on keeping their names straight because I get them mixed up all the time. Who is asking for their assistance against the usurpers in favor of the Targaryens, so to speak. He wants them to join Team Black. Let's make it simple.
Let's keep it simple.
And your boy is giving them these troops.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I thought this whole thing was that they're neutral and not meant to get involved in this stuff.
Yeah, right. This is very interesting. So I feel like I feel like the loophole here is that this is very, very tricky because he's gone to the Starks to ask the Starks for men, not ask the wall for men, right?
I guess that's true.
But the Stark that he has to get the okay from apparently is at the wall. And once you're at the wall, you renounce all of your worldly goods. So he wouldn't be the one to give the okay. So that's where I got twisted, right? Like, once you take the Black, you are no longer the head of the Stark family. You are now, whatever your position is, at the wall. So Jace needed to go and ask whoever is Lord of Winterfell and whoever is Warden of the North for support. So I was really fuzzy around exactly how that worked out, and I don't think it was addressed. Unless the person he's with is just taking him to the wall to visit, and I misunderstood. Maybe he's just like, hey, you came this far, let's go to the wall and see, so and so. You know what I mean? Like, right. So I could have misinterpreted this scene, but that's what was my understanding, is that the men that are being sent are not necessarily. But he does say something like, all the good men we need are to protect the wall. So I can't send you like young, strapping young men. So it's all very confusing.
I wonder, like, I'm going to be really careful here because there are some things in the original text that should have happened before this that would make this make more sense. And I don't know for sure that they're not doing that and going to sort of flash back to it.
Okay.
So I don't want to say yet until I'm really certain we're never coming back to this or this isn't going to be how it's done. But, and when I say it would make it make sense, I'm not even sure it fully would, but it would add a different dimension to the discussion. But yeah, the fact that the show didn't address it, I thought was interesting. I guess that they're just not worried about that sort of like, rule following, because probably nobody recalls those rules if they're only watching the show, because it's not really like, things don't work like that for the show, internal mechanisms, the way that they have to for the books. So
I will say, I will say, watching the scene, the Stark that Jace is talking to is not wearing blacks, and he's still wearing the direwolf. So maybe they just went to the wall because this is your opportunity to see it, and I want to show you what we do up here.
Maybe,
right?
But he pulled the stone.
Is it the same actor that pulled the stone?
Maybe it's not. I thought it was meant to be, but perhaps it isn't. That's a good question. It might not be. Maybe it's just meant to show us the way that, the Starks participate in the whole thing. The way that it like shows that, and then it cuts to him. I thought that was what we were saying, with TV language.
It seems that way, but yeah, I think maybe that's just a sort of an assumption that we as viewers kind of make as a shortcut without actually, being like, oh wait, that's not the same dude. Okay, but let's move on. I don't want to harp too long on. I was just going to say, because the guy who pulls the coal, I don't think has red hair.
Wait, does this guy have red hair?
Well, it's like reddish. It's like that reddishness tint to it. It's not like red hair, but it's got like some auburn in it.
I'm looking at him now, and whatever color is in his hair is not showing in this scene because it just looks dark brown. But also, it's a real not great wig. They didn't put their best foot forward on this guy's wig.
It's like a Tyler Perry wig.
But yeah, so Jace is like, when he says we only have older men, Jace just says, if they can fight, then we'll take them no matter what their age is. It's fine. My mother will accept them. And he says they'll fight hard like Northerners. And they get interrupted by the delivery of a
raven
scroll. Oh. And it's just like, it's a raven that somebody else got, and they just got the scroll from it. But the look he cuts at him, I was a little confused by this, but Jace doesn't know that his brother was killed yet. Is that right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is him finding out the news about his brother.
That sucks.
And I feel like that look is like,
I'm going to have to deliver some bad news.
Yeah. And also, you think war's coming? No, war's here.
Yeah, that shit happened. Done happened. So we cut then to, guess what? A dragon. And we have this scene between Rhaenys and Daemon. And it is so funny.
This was so fucking good. I love these two together on screen. I did not know how much I needed it and how much more of it I need. I love Rhaenys so much, you guys. Makes no sense. She's just like, I go from like 1 second being like, you should have lit them up when you had a chance. I did a rewatch of season 1 in preparation for season 2, and I almost timed it perfectly. When the premiere dropped, I had 25 minutes to go in season 1 finale. I was so close to having it timed perfectly. I got so close, but the big scene in where she comes up from beneath the floor on Maylee's at the coronation, and I was just like, light them up, fucking light them up. Like, you would have thought some of that energy had diminished over 2.5 years, but it had not. I was still like, light all these motherfuckers and do it right now.
Yeah, I feel that. There's something about those moments when you go back to them in TV and in books where you're like, everything could have been different if just one person just did the thing, agonizing.
Yeah. And then Damon says it to her later, and I'm like, yeah.
So she is getting off her dragon. There's a real sense of like fatigue about her. And Damon comes in and is like, get the fuck up on that dragon again because we're about to leave. And she's like, I just patrolled for hours. I'm tired. I'm gonna go. We need rest. That's just people. And he puts his hand on her stomach to stop her, which the way he stops her is so proprietary. Ew, sir. And he tells her that we're going down to King's Landing to kill Vhagar. I cannot face that hoary old bitch alone. With my dragon and yours together, we can kill Vhagar and her rider. Make it a son for a son. And she says, was the queen the one that asked for us to do this? And he basically says, no, she didn't, because, bitches be crazy. And she's out here after just learning that her son died, shirking her duties. Mm-hmm. And it's all very accusatory.
Yeah.
Like,
she's exposed.
No grace here from him whatsoever.
Yeah. This is not a pain that Damon knows anything about. And does not seem to have the capacity or the willingness to empathize with. And even though that was like his stepson, low key, you should be like his mourning is, he goes right to anger. And Rhaenyra gets there. Don't like, let's not get it fucked up. She gets to where Damon is, but she needs like time. And Rhaenys has to school him like what it's like when your child dies outside of your arm's reach, and what the disbelief and the denial is like. And she says, I couldn't even begin to mourn her until her remains were brought back to me. I couldn't believe it was true until I saw it with my own eyes. And Damon is just like on 100 at all times, and does not seem to know how to give space for this type of grief, or just that he expresses his grief through, only is able to express his grief one way.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's accurate. Because it's almost like this doesn't even occur to him that she might be in a state of like denial, because he just doesn't let himself experience grief in a full way, that he doesn't know what it feels like and doesn't understand. Right.
Because he did lose a wife that he did. I believe he loved his wife, and we didn't get a lot of time with him grieving her in the first series. So, but I'd like to believe that there's a capacity in him to touch that kind of grief if he let himself, Yeah.
But
also, I had to keep reminding myself, especially because when it comes to the kids, because kids have like sprouted up and gone through puberty while this was filming and being written. And there's been some aging of some of our other characters. I had to keep reminding myself that this is only a day or two from last season. Like,
yes, yeah.
no real time has passed, So everything, so he's actively in grief for his brother as well. One would think,
Yeah, one would think,
but again, it's all about the anger. It's all about vengeance. That's how I grieve. It says Daemon Targaryen. And, it's valid. It's not the most healthy way to go, but it's definitely a way to go.
In this universe, I suppose it's understandable, like, handling it this way, because that's more respected than men weeping. But yeah, so like you said, she explains to him what it was like for her when her daughter died. And I was sort of like, how does she even find a body? Like, the body washing up the way that it does hadn't occurred to me, and so I was very sort of, but how was she going to get to a point where she accepts it? Because she's not going to have any remains. But I haven't reread the book, guys, so when I say that certain things, like, I have questions about them, I don't recall whether certain things are canon or not. So, not like, there's a few things that I recall specifically whether they are, but then there are details like this, and it may be that he washed up in the book as well, and I just forgot.
Right.
But
the few questions I had about this were, because in my mind, she is just searching beaches everywhere for remains that wash up. She's just out there circling. Then we have, like, these fisher folk who are dragging nets, and they pull in some debris and remains, and she happens to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so part of me is like, has she had, like, are these people dragging the sea at her request? Or are these just people out?
I don't think so, based on the way they just scream dragon when she comes near. They don't seem prepared for that at all.
I feel like everybody just screams dragon when dragons show up, because that's just what the fuck you do. Dragons are coming. You want to scream dragon so everybody gets out of the way.
She manages to land that thing without even knocking over that stall. I was very proud. I thought she was going to wreak havoc on them poor small folks' fish sales for the day.
But yes, she shows up right at the same. It seems like right at the same time. But we cut to her just sort of staring out at the ocean with this expression on her face.
Yeah.
That is really powerful. I will say this about them. Emma is her face acting. She be acting with her face. I mean, she just be, like there is so much fury and also grief simultaneously in her face, around their eyes. Yeah, around their eyes. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's weird because when I'm talking about Rhaenyra, it's she. Right. So I'm talking about the character, but then the actor is, their pronouns are they, them. So it's going to be like weird sounding. So guys, but when I'm using the she, I'm talking about the character.
Okay.
But for the actor, what they're able to do with their eyes, just, and this sort of like way that their mouth is set, like almost like if I open my mouth, a scream is going to come out that I'll never be able to stop.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense whatsoever. That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, it definitely does. I think some of us relate to that statement. So yeah, we cut from, because we have a brief check-in with her, and we eventually go back to her discovering his remains. But from here, we go to, what is his name? Valerian?
That's Corlys. Yeah.
Corlys. Thank you. I can never, I'm going to have to get back in the rhythm of people's names for this show. Sorry about it.
And, Corlys is looking a little aged. He's looking a little beat up, but granted, he did like almost die. So that will do that to you. And we meet a new character named Alan, who saved Corliss. He says at the end of their interaction, this is like, he's like a shipwright. And he's like, I heard you were the one that pulled me out of the water. And Alan is just like, 'cause that's my job. You know, like, don't try to make it into something that's not.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he like really meant that or if he was like, I'm just gonna play it cool about my heroics.
Right? I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. But they find something. It's like a sword or something that they find, and Corliss has had it made for Lucerys. So this is another, like, you know,
confirmation.
And it's just like another hit, another person reacting to the news of what has happened, and another just confirmation, like you say, for us that Team Black is not letting this slide. Like, we're just not letting it slide. Like, there's no coming back from that. Like, the impact of what Aemon did is not just going to be smoothed over. It's just like a oopsie daisy, you know.
Oh God! Could you imagine if they were like, "Yeah, well, it was just an accident." It was.
Listen, in the small council meeting, like Allison keeps talking about, it was an error. It wasn't, it was unintentional. Wasn't meant to happen. And I remember conversations in season 1 that Aemon in the moment did not intend to do that. That he really, it was an inexperienced writer writing a battle dragon. Because Vhagar is like a lot of the dragons are baby dragons. Vhagar has seen some shit, if I understand my lore correctly. And did what dragons do when we're fighting. And that Aemon didn't have a full appreciation for the power that he was wielding at the time.
Not at all.
So people were trying to be like, it wasn't Aemon's intent to do that. And I think I said at last year or last time that I was in agreement that it seemed like he did not mean for it to go that far in the moment. But I don't know. Based
on his face, I don't think he meant it.
It's time, right?
Really like, fuck.
Yeah, right? And it's like, now that it's been a day, he's like, well, I guess I'm just going to own it. Like, the way I'm going to deal with this is I'm going to own it. I'm going to, act like it doesn't bother me. And he had it coming anyway.
Yeah. I don't like, and like I said, in the book, it comes across a lot like as it was very intentional. So it being the sort of accident here, it's just a little bit boring to me. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. What happened, and whether it was an accident or not, the kid's still dead,
Right,
so.
Right.
So we go from Corliss back to, for the first time this season, to the Red Keep. And we have got this scene between Aegon and Helena where Aegon he's like a little shit, but later on in the petitioning, he was so delightful that I really can't hate him like I want. But he comes in and is first looking at one of the twins wanting Jaehaerys, but it's the girl. And he's like, all right, well, where's Jaehaerys? And the maids look very nervously at each other. Did you, I couldn't tell if this was like, oh, I gotta watch out for this fucking guy, or if it was like there's something with his kid that we know that he'll be mad about, so we hope he doesn't ask us directly.
I think that it was. I'm sorry. Did you? There was a scene before this, so I'm behind you.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I forgot about the one with. You're right. Because
Yeah.
I was in that when I jumped. Okay,
But
sorry.
So I'm just catching up to the scene now where he comes to take Jaharis to the
the one that we skipped
meeting.
Was one of the twins.
Yeah, that's just Eric, and it basically is just them showing us. Really, the main thing is that they're showing us they have these scorpions now all outside of the keep, aimed up.
Yeah.
And they see a dragon coming in there about to fucking light it up, and they realize it's just Vagar, and they have to stand down. But yeah, so he comes in looking for Jaharis, and she's Helena's very insistent about not disturbing his ritual. What she call it? No, she doesn't say ritual.
Routine?
His
is
routine,
it what she
or
says?
something like
I'm
that.
I'm going to the spot where because she tells him that he's in his lessons. You must not interrupt his custom. He's in the library,
right? That makes
and Aegon just is like, ugh, whatever, and just goes right on past her. And then she says, "I'm afraid." And he says, "Don't be. They'd be fools to come with Vagar protecting the city." And she says, "Not the dragons, the rats."
Mm-hmm. When are they going to start listening to her?
Even if they do start listening to her,
what are they going to do with that, right?
That going to do? Yeah, like you just be like, I guess put some extra rat traps down. Something's going to happen with the rats, so I understand. That's what I came to find.
It's the thing about prophecy. It's like fucking never really useless.
Ugh. Tiresome.
But I wonder if the not interrupting him, to your original question, is if maybe she knows that he is, because when he gets into the council meeting, he's like very kind of fussy and playful and not like sitting quietly.
Yeah.
And maybe she knows that the father's temperament is like, that's cute for 5 seconds, but you wouldn't want to be around him while he's cranky and interrupted, so just leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah. Or it may be, and I don't know how much like to read into this character, but it feels sometimes like they're making her neurodivergent, and that maybe she's like, don't interrupt his routine because
yeah.
It upsets him.
I thought the same. Yeah.
Because some of us are neurodivergents who need routine and thrive on it, and some of us are neurodivergents who can't establish a routine to save our lives, and every day is a real adventure. Aegon says to the handmaids that are in the room, the queen is an enduring mystery. And what is it after that? Hold on. It takes so long to get to this line. Sorry. And then just, is she not? And then a vague gesture, like, there you have it.
And then we get what was a surprise to me as a non-book reader.
Can't remember if this is book or not, to be honest.
And when I say surprise, I don't mean I'm surprised that they would do it. I'm just like surprised that we got it like in the very first episode, because again, it's only been like a day or two since Viserys died. So this happened really fast. Cole,
has it only been a day or two since Viserys died?
Not a day or two, but it hasn't been a long period of time.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, we get a funeral sequence in this episode.
Yeah, I thought that was for Jace.
Oh, was it? Well, no, that's the one with Rhaenyra. Don't we get something with Alicent also wearing like a veil?
Oh, she's just praying in the sept. The one where she lights the candles?
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it hasn't been that much time. since.
I'm trying to see, because I feel like it's been a month or so, because they kept his body hidden before they announced his death, right?
Well, they had the coronation like the next day after he died. Like, they announced that he died and the coronation of Aegon in the same breath, like at the same fucking ceremony.
Yeah, that's right. I thought that she announced the death and there was the coronation kind of long after he died, because they were sitting on his body.
They did it,
but
like,
I can't remember how long they, because she doesn't let anybody know he's dead for a minute.
Yeah, they go and get Aegon coronated.
I was literally going to say coronated myself, so don't feel bad.
But
crowned.
They get him crowned, and Otto tells like the throngs, the masses, that King Viserys has died, and today and that's how everybody finds out, because it's a big secret, and they don't tell anybody that he died, but it's like super fast, getting him crowned. Okay. But either way, it's enough time that Chase is, because Lucerys is the one who died. Chase is still on his mission from his mom. Like, I want you to go to the north and blah, blah, blah. And she sends Lucerys down to fucking the Stormlands or wherever to try to like rally support for their sides. And he's not home yet until this episode. So, but either way, we're at the small council meeting.
Just reminder, it's Jace, Jace, not Chase, like the more frequently used name.
Oh, I thought I was saying Jace.
Oh, it sounded like you said Chase to me that the last couple times you said it, but I may be wrong. Just wanted to throw it because I knew somebody would say something.
Well, I in my head I'm saying Jace. It might be coming out Chase, but my intent is to say Jace.
But yeah, so like the Kristen Cole scene with it, like I'm calling it the Kristen Cole scene and not the oh my god, hi, what's her name? Allison. I keep wanting to say Rhaenyra, not the Allison scene, because her behavior did not rub me so much the wrong way as his behavior, because he's just so annoying to me at this point that everything he says, it's very bitch eating crackers, basically.
I cannot stand him.
He's just like, the way I have flipped. This actor really is doing a good job. I'll say that.
I mean, first of all, he doesn't seem like when he gets up and he's starting to put his armor back on and everything. And she does this thing where she's like, we cannot do this again. And I don't know if this is the first time this is happening. I don't think it is, but I feel like she probably says this every single fucking time, which has got to be insufferable. And maybe that's why he's making the face he's making, because she says this shit every time. I don't know. But all I can think of is, how self-righteous, and maybe Allison still feels like, well, I waited till my husband was dead. So,
I'm sure that's what she'd say.
This isn't as improper as something that, say, Rhaenyra has done. But between the two of them and how self-righteous they were and how, like, scornful they were, and his whole, she sullied my cloak and she made me a whore, and now, sir, his whole head is practically in her uterus, which I'm not really that mad about, because that's the kind of energy you want. Like, if I want you digging like you're digging for gold, because you kind of are. So I appreciate it, but
oh god.
But, like, when he gets up, there's no, like, sense that was enjoyable for him. You know what I mean?
No, it feels very much like she's making him do a thing and he feels like he has to do it.
Yeah, and I'm just, get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Sir Sad Sack. That's still what I went through I was reading my old memories about the show, and that's one of the things I had started calling him, because he was just so
Sir Sad Sack.
So fucking
Yeah, I do kind of enjoy, and I say enjoy with a big asterisk next to it, guys. So please understand what I mean. Representation for women committing sexual assault. Essentially, like she's leveraging her position of power in order to get what she wants out of him in a real gross way that's like deeply fucked. And usually it's dudes doing this almost every time. So, you know, getting to see her doing this and I think it's meant to be really like read as he is not enjoying this. He is not invested in this and probably feels a way about being made to do this after being made to do it once before and taking it so very personally.
So you don't think that he got swept up in the sexual arousal of the moment and they started making out and then this is where their relationship ended? You feel much more
absolutely not. There's just like the whole way, the distance between the two of them when they finish and like how stone face he is. I really feel like that's all on purpose to just be like, yeah, there's no intimacy here, you know?
And then he makes her put his little white cloak back on.
Yeah. And that's kind of where it's coming from for me, of just being like, yeah, I'm wearing this cloak and you're the one who keeps like fucking it up for me. So you're the one who can put it back on too and just remind you of what you're making me do, you know? But
that almost makes him interesting to me.
I may be reading way too much into this. Who knows? So yeah, then we go to the small council meeting, and I just want to point out that we see our rat catcher friend leaving the room just before she comes in.
Yes,
Rhaenyra, or yeah. See, I did it again, Allison. And this scene, you guys, I feel like I could have sworn somebody at some point told us what the point of these rocks was. That are all on these discs,
and apparently they're
very Star Wars,
and they're very important because Thailand feels like if I don't have my ball, I can't be at the council. Like, give me my ball back, or they're going to make me leave. So they must have some real significance.
I don't like. Jaehaerys doesn't have one in front of his place, so I wasn't sure what to make of that. If he's like taking one because he lost his because he was already playing with his, you know what I mean? Like the implication of that, or broke it or something, or if it's like supposed to be, you get one when you're like really participating.
Well, he doesn't, like, when you say he doesn't have, like, the seat where he's sitting, it doesn't have one because the person whose seat that is would have their ball and they're not there. So he's just sitting in like an empty spot. So
he doesn't count even though he's like in training, supposedly?
Yeah, no, this is his first time. Like, Aegon makes a whole thing like, oh, I figured, he needed to learn the ways.
Oh, yeah. I guess I just thought that he, like, got him one as a sort of...
No, they didn't know he was
gesture.
No. Nobody knew he was bringing his kid. It wasn't bringing your kid to work day.
Yeah.
And, Aegon is just like, I texted you like he was like giving Joffrey when he's telling Tylan to like give him a horsey back ride.
Yeah.
It was just very, very Joffrey energy.
It is kind of funny though, like even though it's Joffrey energy, in the gleefulness of it and the humiliation, I do kind of love that it's like, oh, is my child who's a child really irritating you because he's not sitting still and conversing because he's a child? Is that a problem? I know that's like probably not the energy that I should encourage, but just him getting defensive of his son in that sort of way, I did kind of like, even though he was being a huge dick about it.
I was all over the place with Aegon this episode. Like, yeah. I don't like Aegon, right? He's awful. He's awful. He's a rapist. Was at least a drunkard, irresponsible, selfish.
Maybe all that's why the maids were looking at each other like that.
But maybe anytime he walks into a room with servant women, they all probably look at him like that.
Yeah.
But there were some moments this episode in the small council meeting later when he's hearing petitions where I'm just like, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
Maybe he does have something in him that could possibly be if they weren't at war, and if it could be cultivated by somebody around him, which none of the people that surround him have the ability to cultivate kindness and restraint and compassion. But like, if he were surrounded by those type of people, maybe he could have been little less than like less of a shit, you know?
Interesting concept. That people might be less of a shit if people who were also less of a shit were around them. True. So yeah, Allison interrupts this moment of Mr. Lannister's interruption here, where he's going to become somebody's horsey, and he says, "Oh, no worries, Tylan. Go ahead and sit down." And then Aegon sends Jaehaerys away anyway, which, you guys, I don't know why that got me so bad, but this man was like, no, yeah, he's disruptive. This isn't great. Instantly, like, after being like, oh, is this a problem? He's like, yeah, it's a problem. I swear to God, I could not. I really enjoyed this.
I laughed really hard because when Allison tries to get like control of the meeting back, or tries to get the meeting back on track, and she says to Aegon, because Aegon is not taking it seriously, that these are very important matters that have to be discussed. And then she says, despite Lord Tylan's interruptions. Like, Tylan cannot catch a fucking break in this moment. Like, these fucking people are coming between the baby, the king, and the mother. I mean, he's just like, can I live?
Good luck. Yeah, nah, sorry, bruh. So their first order of business here is to talk about, there's a blockade on King's Landing, which is keeping them from getting a lot of the supplies that they need, and it's really beginning to fuck with the economy here. And, you know, he's just like, well, why didn't we just kill her when we had the chance? And sort of saying like, well, we could just go kill her now. And Otto is like, dude, there's no element of surprise at this point. She got dragons. We got dragons. There's no way that this is over quick and easy like we would all like it to be. Sorry to say.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love this one throwaway line. I don't know if it's going to become anything later, but they're talking about the blockade, and they don't have a master of ships anymore because the Valerians are like on Team Black. And somebody is like, well, we could get Sir something Greyjoy. And I was like, word?
Dalton Greyjoy.
I was just like, so the Iron Islands are part of, at this point in time, part of the Seven Kingdoms, and don't have their own king anymore. Because I get the timeline of all of that shit, like, you know, kind of confused.
Understandably, yeah.
So now I'm like, are we getting a Greyjoy? Are we going to get a Greyjoy?
I hope that we get the anime Greyjoy that we all deserve. Although I guess Aemond is sort of serving that role in this. Speaking of, he strolls in here with his fucking eye patch. And, you know, there's a moment with Allison just being like, you don't have a seat at this council. What are you doing here? And he's like, this is literally my brother and like the best sword fighter we have. Yeah, I'm including him in this fucking conversation, obviously.
She seems so pressed
that
he's even in the room. Like, you can't sit with us. And and he is, and she talks about it a little bit later. Allison does, about Aemon. And clearly she's got feelings because of what he did to Lucerys. she's got some feelings about how that all happened. And he says later that my mother blames me for kicking off this war and ruining chances for peace and all that. But compared to Aemon, I would think, is the son that you would be like, yeah, let's get him in the council. Let's let's have him up here.
He
with
fucked
us.
up, but he has sense.
And he's like, has been preparing his whole life to take the roles of responsibility of the family very seriously.
Yeah.
In a way that Aegon doesn't take anything fucking seriously. So yeah, I was a little taken aback at her reaction to his presence. I was like, oh shit, she does not want him anywhere near any of this.
He's in disgrace.
Yeah, he's in
They're
disgrace.
Supposed to be in the corner.
And yeah, she does not trust his judgment. And I guess, that's, considering what has just happened, kind of fair.
Yeah.
Because chasing that little boy on your big ass dragon was not a best example of good judgment.
It's true. Like, we're debating whether it was an accident or not, but even if it was an accident, you should know your dragon well enough to not put yourself in the position for that accident to happen anyway, because you gotta be aware what this dragon is fucking like.
Yeah. And before he jumped on that dragon, he did attack that little boy with a knife, talking about give me your eye. So
that's true. It's true. I forgot about that. God. Yeah, I can see what you mean about him, like, it feeling like, but was it on purpose though? But yeah, I really don't think it was. I think he was like, I take his eye. That's one thing.
That's fair. I had a right to that. Because he feels like he has a right to the eye. He didn't necessarily have a right to kill him.
Yeah.
Like in his mind, I think.
I agree.
That's how that would work. So yeah, he comes sauntering in, and it is a saunter. This motherfucker saunters everywhere.
Saunter. Yep. Full agree.
And he goes right to the war map and starts telling them what they need to do.
Yeah.
And Aegon is like, yeah. And if they don't like it, we'll fucking... I love how Aegon is just like, Vhagar will do this, and Vhagar will do that. Mm-hmm. Because even though that's not his dragon, and he says it later on, as far as Aegon is concerned, that's his dragon. Because I'm king, and all these motherfuckers belong to me, and all y'all do what I say. So it might as well be my dragon.
Yeah. It's also interesting because, like, he's sort of separating his brother out of it. Mm-hmm. By saying, like, Vhagar instead. And I don't know if that's because he's aware about how his mother's feeling about this, or how, like, the language sounds after this dude just killed a kid, or what's going on. But I don't know if that's on purpose. But yeah, his attitude throughout this meeting is, we got dragons, who's going to check us? And Allison is like, yeah, we got dragons and they got dragons, and that shit is a very volatile combination that could go bad, like super bad, very, very quickly and easily. Mm-hmm. And she wants to be a lot more cautious than he is at all interested in being. So yeah, he's like, look, they either have to declare for me or I'll kill him. I'll fry him up. That's the deal. Mm-hmm. They should know that this is the deal because it's what the fucking, like, their duties are, basically. How could they do otherwise?
Right.
And Allison, looking very irritated that she even has to do this, looks up at Kristen Cole, who, with this long-suffering expression, says, "You are the king, your grace. You must not put yourself at risk." Because he has just proposed, like, joining in this whole thing himself, and that would take one of the dragons out of the equation. And Vhagar is needed here to deter Rhaenyra from attacking in retribution for the death of her son. And at which point she turns and glares. Yeah, and Aemon's smirking.
Yes, he is.
Like,
but he's That's just his face, I think.
That's like, right? Like, I couldn't tell. It's like, he seems awfully pleased for himself for something that was allegedly a mistake. But also, he has like such a particular type of face.
Mm-hmm. Fucking Otto is like, some mistakes were made in the hours immediately following the king's death. However,
he's very vague about it.
And then they end up telling Aegon, like, look, you already shown everybody what we can do. Really talking about what Aemon has just done with Vhagar, right?
Right.
So we don't need to compound that. We don't need to make another demonstration. Everybody saw, everybody knows, the word is out. So we have some room, right? And now is the time for restraint. Now is the time for us to wait and see what our allies will do, who's going to show up for us. I've been sending ravens out, and people are going to come, trust me. They're going to come.
At which point, Aegon slides down in his chair with the air of somebody who's just been told that dinner's actually going to be another 30 minutes because you burned it.
And then he plays with his fidget spinner for a minute.
But yeah, Otto is just like, there are going to be plenty of people declaring for you. You don't need to push it like this. Everybody knows that the fucking Targs are in charge. And we're Targs, and that's all they need to know. And I'm just sort of like, look, I guess. I don't like it.
And then my most favorite moment, as they leave, Alicent is walking down the hallway, and fucking Larys is skulking about, waiting for her. And she has a look of such exasperation. Of just like, oh my fucking God, dude, what do you want now? And I checked your quarters earlier, and your maidservant said that you were indisposed. I hate him. Not as much as I hate Cole, but it is a close second. You guys know how I feel about this who-faced asshole. Mm-hmm. Do not like him. But he's telling her here that he's pretty confident that he's gotten everybody who was snitching out of the keep.
Yeah.
And then says, I have now replaced all of those people with people that I can trust. Which I feel like is not, Alicent, I need you to rectify that post haste. Why? No, you don't get to know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anybody that he picked up in my quarters. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I can't believe she just kind of let it stand. I hope we come back to that. I hope we find out later on that she was like, no, I held open interviews.
I decided to up the benefits package a little bit. I added dental, just some things that I know you weren't willing to compromise on.
Get a better quality of candidate up in here.
The whole way that this goes to, because he says, like, I found all the spies, and she says, and what happened to them, and he says they no longer breathe our air. And I was just like, that's real, that feels like a Fae way of saying the thing.
He absolutely
it feels like
engages in Fae doublespeak.
Yeah,
he absolutely does. He absolutely does. He did this a couple of times in the first season as well, where it's like, I'm not going to come out and say the words. You can say the word if you want, or if you have the balls to ask me straight out, did I have them killed? But I know you're not going to ask me that straight out, so I don't have to say it out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she is, from season 1 onward, she continues to use his services and let him do her dirty work while she tries to convince herself that somehow she's removed from it. And it's so funny because this interaction goes like directly into her needing to bathe, which and then feeling like her handmaids aren't doing it because they're being like very gentle, as you are with the queen. And
I was wondering if it was like, are you one of the ones that he replaced?
I think that too. I think it was all of it. I think it's like not trusting the people that are surrounding her and wanting them to be away from her. And like, I can't let people who I don't trust who are already dirty because they are handpicked by him. How can they clean me? And also this wanting to wash the filth of what she is becoming or has become or has done off of her, and you can't, it would be like going to confession with somebody who you don't think is clean themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although there are versions of that work out pretty well for me in my head.
Oh my God.
Fleabag, anybody? Just saying. So this is when Syrax comes down. Rhaenyra brings him to see the remains of her son. And it's a really sad scene. Just like he has these slashes. It's the actual dragon wing. And I think the cloak that her son wore.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like the body, but that's clearly enough. Yeah,
it's his cloak is all wrapped up in what's left of one of the wings. Yeah. And it is this is going to be, I have a dumb question, right? So
no, dragons cannot grow their wings back.
Thank you for answering that. Saves me the embarrassment of having to say it out loud. But so my question is, as I was watching this, was Aemon must have gone home immediately and confessed what had happened, right?
Right.
And I think this is covered in the finale of last season. Because if I remember correctly, and I like I told you guys, it's so funny. I did the rewatch, but I missed the last like 20 minutes, which is when all this happens with Jace and Aemon and all that. So that's the part I didn't get to rewatch, so I can't remember. But what it is that Aemon has to tell what happened, and then King's Landing, the Greens have to then send the Raven to tell Rhaenyra what has happened to her son. That's the...
I'm assuming, yes.
Right, that's how... Because I kept thinking, like, Aemon...
Because I'm pretty sure it cuts from the dragon chomping down to a servant making his way up the steps of Dragonstone, and we follow him in. He whispers to Rhaenyra, and then she turns around and
gives that amazing look to the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if I said it on the first podcast, but I remember thinking it once again. Like,
maybe he could have just kept that shit to himself.
What if he just didn't say nothing?
Yeah. I know.
Like, why would you tell anybody you did that? Would you? I mean, I know it's easier to say don't tell anybody than it actually is to live with what you just did, especially if it was an accident and you didn't mean for it to happen. But but also like it was thundering and lightning, and y'all was way up high in the sky. There was no witness.
It wasn't thundering and lightning.
It was a horrible storm.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a horrible storm. And then they fly real up high into the clouds and then over the clouds, and lightning is striking and all kinds of shit.
God, I don't remember that at all. Okay.
I'm almost positive. And so, I mean, Aemon could have just been like, I don't know, the weather was bad. I barely made it back myself. Maybe he got caught up out there.
After just like assaulting him with a knife to try and gouge his eyes out, he's like, "Oh God, something happened.
Yeah,
what a shame."
They got away. I lost them in the storm. I was on that ass, but he was on that. His dragon was so tiny, he just disappeared in the cloud.
I love that. Just throwing the backhanded insults about the dragon being real small too. But yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. Just like, well, what if he had just kept that to himself? Mm-hmm. He could even have gone into hiding, and then nobody'd know what happened to anybody. And he could just pop out eventually and be like, oh, guys, I just barely escaped.
This is what I'm saying, right? Come back, had the eye patch turned sideways. You know what I mean? You're so disheveled. The
eye patch on the wrong eye. And be like, I lost the other one, too. Oh, God. So, okay, let's go to the petitioning scene because it's the best. It's the best. I love it so much. So, Aegon is being real sweet to this little shepherd who is super nervous because this is the fucking king.
Aegon the Magnanimous.
You guys, Rashawn and I were watching this in sync, and I was texting her while watching, and I typed the Magnanimous LMAO just as he turned to Otto and said, the Magnanimous. And I was like, oh no, we're on the same side on this one, bruh. So yeah, this guy tells him, my flock, 1/10 of them were taken by the crown, and he's so he's so uncomfortable. And he says, on the cusp of winter, if I'd had time to plan, and Aegon interrupts and says, we should return them.
Oh my God.
And you see Otto raise his head and just be like, did he just...
Oh my God.
Right away, instantly, out of the gate, first petitioner, he's fucking up.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Otto has to walk up those steps, and he just looks like, listen, real quick. We need the sheep.
You're talking about a dragon war, man. What you think they eat?
Like,
I love the shepherd who's like just blown away that he's just going to be given back. Like,
right.
And Aegon, well, you need your goats for the winter, don't you?
Oh my God. Aegon is like, let's just do it for this one guy. Let the one guy have it.
I absolutely could not. You guys, this made me so hurt. He's just immediately like, yeah, that's fucked up, bro. We took him? That's not cool.
He tells Otto, maybe we should just give it to him. He came all this way.
And then when he's like, if you do it for him, you have to do it for everybody. And he says, they won't know. If this is not exactly how this conversation would go if I were king, take my tongue out at the roots, because the instant that he starts to say you'd have to do it for everybody, I'm thinking, why do they have to know about it? He's in a room full of people. Of course they're going to know about it.
Oh my God. And I have to say, this young man, this actor playing Aegon, is the fact that he can go from making, like, one moment making you just loathe him to this moment here where his face, like, he legit, like, is being sincere and is like, we took this man's sheep. That's not right. That wasn't cool of us. And like he totally sells it. Like, you really believe that he thinks to himself, well, this was unfair of us and we need to make it right. I loved it. It was so good.
Perhaps we could just return his sheep. You guys, I was not ready for him to even like go down this road. I thought what we were going to get was this immediate rage at being like countermanded in front of everybody, that it was going to be very much like an ego thing.
100%.
And that he was going to like fly off the handle in some way, or I even thought that the petitioner, like being like the crown took by, that he was going to be like, the crown needs a goat. So sorry.
Exactly. You're lucky the crown didn't take your head is the kind of line that I would have expected to come out next, because this guy is basically, he's not just imploring, for the return, but he's saying what the government has just done, what the crown has just done is unfair and poorly timed. Like, if I had been able to plan for this, then I could have accommodated you, but y'all don't know what the fuck you're doing. And at the last minute, here you come, taking a tenth of my shit. That's like, I'm low-key surprised that a petitioner would even say that.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, I am, like, surprised. And I think that is maybe, and I could be really overreaching here, but I'm wondering if that is a testament to the fact that there's been such peace for so long, for two kings now. Whoever was king before Viserys, I think it was another Jaehaerys was king, and then Viserys was king. And we had these long periods of peace, and also like as kind as you could probably hope for kings, right?
Honestly, yeah.
You know what I mean? So the small folk have, while this Jared guy is still clearly like nervous because, he's talking to the king, and that's, but there's not a fear of coming and presenting your case to the crown, because they've been living in a world where you could do that. Because I don't think I have ever seen anybody come up to the throne in our various, Song of Ice and Fire exploits with the sort of like expecting fairness from the person who's sitting there, and like expecting compassion, not even fairness, but like empathy and compassion for the dire straits the small folk find themselves in at the expense of, what the higher houses and nobility are doing, which is something me and you talk about through the books all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a very different King's Landing, where somebody can come up to the Iron Throne and be like, y'all are taking a tenth of my sheep, and that's not cool. You know what I mean?
I think that they did this in the, there's a scene where Eddard Stark is seeing petitioners when he's the regent.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what they were asking for.
They were all pissed because their shit was being burned to the ground.
Oh, that's right. And the mountain was out. The mountain was out there.
Mountain was fucking
raping
loose.
And pillaging, and the mountain was
Rape and
loose.
ruin.
There you go. That's all you got. The mountain was loose.
Doesn't sound as good as the juice. So then we have another petitioner who's like, that blockade is fucking my shit up, and he just interrupts with like, yeah, we're gonna burn that blockade with dragons, don't worry about it, bye.
Otto
again Otto just like, did he just fucking just tell oh my god.
And Larys is like up in the balcony watching everything.
He is so annoying. Ugh. Just him skulking. Get a job. What is this?
What is his job? He's the
master of whispers.
Is he?
I think so, yeah. Pretty sure.
I thought
he might not be like, I don't know if they have a master of whispers on the small council at this point.
They call him something else because he's not on the small council. He's Lord. He's a Lord. I guess because of his house, right? Because he's a strong. But I don't know what his
that he killed his dad.
Yeah, right. What his actual job is. I know that he has something to do with, like, he's always down in them dungeons, pulling his no good doers. He's always pulling them from the cells. That's where he goes and gets them.
Did you just say his no good doers?
I did, and I stand by it.
Oh god, that's funny.
But that's where he always gets them from. So I don't know if he's like adjacent to the police in some manner. Like he's not like a gold.
According to the wiki, his title is Lord Confessor.
Oh, that's ominous. What does that mean? I'm going to pause this. What does that mean? What is...
All right, let me click Lord Confessor.
Yeah, click
Open
on that
a
real
new
quick.
tab, please. Lord Confessor is a position in the royal court of this... I hate fucking web pages now. Lord Confessor is tasked with extracting information from people, mostly from prisoners, and often by means of torture. Lord Varys Strong served as Lord Confessor under Viserys I and Aegon II.
Lord Confessor. Okay, that's new to me. I don't think we've ever met a character in our other books.
It says, in Fire and Blood, there are several officials known as confessors overseen by the Lord Confessor, who is in turn overseen by the King's Justice.
Oh, okay. So he's okay. That explains why he's always down in them dungeons with the fucking murderers in the cells and shit. He's all tied up in all that. Oh, this duplicitous motherfucker.
Yeah, because he tells her that Mysaria is dead, and then Mysaria is, by the way, not dead. So
turns out,
surprise, surprise, when he says no longer breathing our air, he's like, she's breathing the air of Dragonstone. Totally different place. You fuck. Okay, so then the next guy who comes in, Hugh. This was one of those moments where I'm just like, all right, I don't remember Hugh, but clearly Hugh is somebody, because the whole way this is filmed felt very, who's Hugh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you get that sense?
I'm going back now so I can see his face. Because I want to see if...
The camera just lingers on him in this particular way for like a couple of moments. He has very carefully done makeup that for me felt like there's just a whole look about the way he was lit and everything that was like, all right, we're signaling that this is a big deal character in the making, or maybe not big deal, but somebody who's going to wind up being significant.
Okay. And this is
again, I don't remember who this is, guys. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And it was kind of funny because you and I had just been texting about like the scorpions, because when you saw one on the Red Keep's roof, you were like, oh, I thought the scorpions were like new technology in the last show. And I said, I think they're just really hard to build. And then we got this like exact information that we were wondering, because he says just one scorpion takes weeks to build. And to put it simply, we are struggling. If we could have but the crown's coin before we started work, it would bring great relief, not just to me, but all the smiths serving your cause. And Aegon adjusts in his chair in a way that I was like, not sure what it meant. If it was him being upset, what?
What if...
Oh boy.
Because he's asking for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the Smiths. What if the crown, and the crown is like, we're going to pay you after the war? What if Team Black is like, we'll pay you up front? And the Smiths are like, word?
That would be a problem.
And then maybe that's why this guy is like, got the trappings of like, you want to pay attention to this man.
Yeah, I could see that. Again,
that might be my first. That might be my first theory of the season, you guys.
Hey, I love it. And so Aegon says, "You shall be paid, and paid well. My army cannot win a war without your weapons. You should continue your making. Our victory depends on the efforts of the small folk." And Otto is over here practically like putting his head in his hands. There's just a sense of like, I can't stop and correct him on every single thing, because that's just going to look bad. So I'm going to let this go. But it feels to me like Otto doesn't agree with this wording decision at all. I personally think that you want to pay your Smiths up front if they ask you to. I'm just saying. But maybe he goes in and blocks that shit. But Aegon said in front of everybody, and supposedly when you speak with the king's voice, all hear it. allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, I don't know. Okay. So what's this next scene? Oh, Laris is speaking into his ear, ruining everything.
My God.
Ruining my sweet boy who's giving everyone their sheet back.
Makes the same face when Laris starts talking. He audibly groans and I think rolls his eyes.
I love it. Laris sucks. He just does.
And he's telling him, first of all, it filled my heart with such warmth and gratitude, or whatever the fuck he says, seeing you sitting on the Iron Throne. And I just wish that Laris could start a conversation without whatever that is.
Without the flowery fucking pronouncements. Yeah.
But then it starts basically being like, you're looking soft. And also, Otto is going to be a problem.
Yeah. He
controlled your father, and if you're not careful, he's going to end up controlling you too. Yeah. So Laris is going to be hand, right? That's what this is. This is, or at least going to try really hard to be hand. I don't know how successful he's going to be, but I think he's going to be successful. I think that Aegon is very easily played by whoever wants to play. And so it'll be a battle between Laris and Otto for Aegon.
I'm just so... because the way he sets this up, he says, he was your father's hand. What I thought he was going to try for here was do what you need to do, because regardless of what he is whispering in your ear, because I was starting to be like, is he even loyal to the Greens? Like, is he trying to set them up so that Aegon ruins everything through his inexperience and just trying to be generous to everybody? But then when he says well, that was your father's hand, I was like, oh, this is a whole different direction. And I can't help but wonder, when your dude gives that expression when he sees you waiting to talk to him in the hall, how good do you think your odds are on getting that spot?
Listen, Laris does not let whether somebody is happy to see him or not float his role at all.
That's true.
Not even a little fucking bit. Not even a little bit. And on top of that, I am 100% sure that literally everyone makes that noise when he shows up. He's probably just used to it. He probably thinks that when everybody walks in a room, that's the responsibility.
They all get that reaction.
He doesn't even know it's just him.
I've never not seen a person do that. That's just what people do. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, we cut from there to Otto going into the room where he had evidently been summoned hours before.
She's salty.
And ignored. And she is just like, all right, I just want to fucking check with you. Are we on the same fucking side or not? Because you do not have my back at all out there. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like if you want us to present a united front, you can't just be talking over me and shit.
Right.
And I was like, that's very fair, actually.
And you continue to talk to me this way in front of my boys, they're going to start talking to me the same way, basically. You're you're showing them that they don't need to listen to me and that my words have no value, and they're going to just start fucking ignoring me even more than they already are. The hold that I have on them is tenuous, and you are not fucking helping. This evolution of their relationship, it was, I think, always going to end up this way, right? The way that and I think that like, and I think they talk about, you have to forgive me because again, with the rewatch so close to the premiere, like when conversations happen, but the way that he positioned his daughter to become queen didn't sit well with me.
Right.
I thought it was gross. I thought he used his daughter. I never believed any of his claims that he did it for the realm, that he did it because Viserys needed comfort. I think it was complete opportunity, and that Otto is somebody who wants power and will use whoever he can to get as close proximity as possible. And that's just how he gets down. Whatever his reasoning for it is, like, I don't even care at this point. And using his daughter when she was necessary was one thing. And now that she's no longer necessary because her king is dead, he makes her wait hours for appointments now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that.
And, and then also for Allison, it must be devastating to realize this about the person that you loved and respected the most, and that you still want to, you know what I mean? What I'm trying to get to, like, you still want to believe has your best interest in heart.
Right.
And the best interest of your boys, because they're your sons, not because one is king, but because they're your grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder. It's so funny because, like, the way that TV works, this happens with so many different characters. They'll do something really despicable, and then, like, a couple seasons later, you've literally forgotten about it, and they are great again. And then you do a rewatch, and you're like, "Oh my god, I forgot he did this shitty thing."
Mm-hmm.
I had really forgotten about the way that he puts his daughter in Viserys' path and how, like, unwilling she really is and has to be convinced into it. And I see Otto as, like, somebody harmless doing his best right now, but that's not true at all. Like, the way that Larys is talking about him, my instinct is to be like, if Larys is saying this about him, then he must be fine. Because Larys is terrible.
Yeah. So
if he's cautioning you against somebody, don't worry about it. But now I'm like, oh, what if Larys is right and you just need to fucking get rid of this guy?
Like, I said to you in text that whenever Larys is speaking, I think he's lying. But that is not actually accurate. It's not that he's lying. It's just that he's using he's twisting truths to his advantage.
He may be telling the truth, but not for the reasons of, I want to be open and honest with you.
Not just for the truth telling of its own, but for its own sake. So, yeah, I think Otto Hightower is despicable. I really do. I think he's a despicable person for what he did to his daughter. And I know, you could be like, because when they have the big fight in season 1 towards the end, him and Allison, and she says she accuses him kind of using me to get to Viserys to get power. And he's like, I made you a queen. Like, for him, that's like the highest thing he could do for his daughter.
Yeah.
So I guess if you wanted to spend a bunch of time that I don't feel like spending into Otto Hightower's motivations, like, maybe they are coming from a place of wanting to see his daughter in the best position he could possibly obtain for her. And Queen of the fucking Seven Kingdoms is not too shabby. And I know it was gross because to my mind, they were children, but in the universe, she was like 17 or 18 when they got married. So, like, it's... I
mean, the usual grossness.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
But I just think... I do. No. Unforgivable.
So, all right. This scene ends with... him being like, look, I think you've just got to face facts that this is going to be like war. We're not going to be able to dance around this. And she says, I know, but that doesn't mean that it has to be wanton. And he says, no. And the way he pauses, I really thought he was about to make a reference to her and Chris and Cole. And I was like waiting for it, but he does not. So it wasn't the pause that I was thinking it was. Because I thought he was going to be like, wanton like you. You
listen,
face riding whore.
The way that word is usually used.
Yeah, you know. So, all right. Next scene is when we have the ship being boarded to find Missaria. We can just sort of run through this pretty quick. She winds up in a conversation with Damon that he's real mad that she sold their secrets, and she is utterly unapologetic and is just like, dude, I was doing what I needed to do to get by. You always enjoyed having control over me, and you're just mad that I did my own thing, and now you have nobody else to blame on this, like nobody else who is actually at fault in front of you to abuse, and you're coming after me trying to act like this whole war is my fault because you don't have anybody else to yell at.
Yep.
Which, to his credit, he does stop and look at her like he's been caught out and seems to understand that.
The best thing she says too is she's like, Aegon would have gone home. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was running away forever. He would. She says he would have gone home for gold or respite or something like that. I didn't fucking put him on the throne. He was going to go home.
I forgot earlier. There was a line that Rhaenys says that we didn't even mention.
Oh my God! The fucking would that you were king.
Yeah,
so good, so good.
And then the fucking pair of pixelated sunglasses dropped out of the sky and the music started to play.
That line went so fucking hard.
It really did.
And said as you're walking away, like not even turning your head and speaking directly at him. So fucking baller. She's the best.
But yeah, she says that we would have been at war eventually. I just sped the business along. So yeah, I did kind of enjoy her attitude here of just being like, you know what, enough. I also appreciate that this actress doesn't sound quite as fucking
they tweaked
bonkers
that.
Like Moira from Schitt's Creek. You haven't watched that show, but
I still haven't. But I was glad that they tweaked that accent a little bit. Because I had forgotten how ludicrous it was until the rewatch, and then I was like, they really just had her saying these lines like this. Like nobody said cut. Nobody,
nobody went. Wait! What are you doing? What is that? We didn't talk about that.
And we have a moment where Eric is like vouches for her, and he's like, you know what? We don't get the whole thing, but he's just like, I was there. And then Damon is like, yeah, you were. You were there. You watched the whole fucking thing, you traitor.
Again, he's just lashing out at anybody. When he to Eric is just like turns a corner and is like, oh, I was yelling about her, but let's yell about you now. Eric just says, yeah, but what were we supposed to do? We both swore oaths. There were two of us. Yep. If one could say we're able to enforce our oaths better than anybody because we get to do both.
It's wild too because he's like, we were 8 and 10, which I don't think I understood.
Oh, 8 and 10, they're twins, but they were 18.
Oh, 8 and 10. Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
That makes me feel better. That's right, they're twins, so they would not be two different ages for Sean. Get it together.
Listen, it's a confusing way to phrase things, though. I understand. All right, so next scene, we follow Rhaenyra inside. She has this just like stalking over to the table as she is being announced, clings to Damon for just a moment before going to her sort of throne. It's a really weird chair that I couldn't tell if it was meant to be like a throne or if all the chairs in the room look like that, because I didn't get a good look at the other chairs before everybody sat down.
I don't know if they're in the throne room because they've got that war table set up, right?
Yeah, I guess I just thought anywhere the king or queen would be in an official capacity that they would have like a throne.
She's got a very special, this is where I fucking sit seat.
Yeah, you know, because I would outfit every room with like,
but
this is my chair. This is also my chair.
But it's not really necessarily impressive. But I will say that table is so fucking impressive that a chair does not stand a chance.
Oh, so that's fair.
It's probably better that it's understated because that table is bonkers and I still love it. It is so dope.
Yeah, it's really, really cool looking. So somebody is talking about like what's going on right now with the trade and yada, yada, yada. And it's very clear that she is not really hearing it at all. And then she just says, I want Aemon Targaryen, and walks the fuck out.
Yep. And Daemon looks like proud, a little turned on, and also like finally somebody is giving me like the okay, because he's been waiting for her, like he's been wanting to go and do this since the beginning of the episode, and everybody's like, no, you gotta wait for Rhaenyra to get back. So he's like, all right, bet she's back and she wants it too. It's on. And he goes right back to, what's her name, Masseria?
Masseria, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, let me offer you a little something. How about you give me a little info and I give you your freedom? You know about what's going on in King's Landing, and then that's all we get of their conversation.
Yeah.
But we know she told him some shit. We know she about to tell him everything she possibly can.
She definitely did, because he knows exactly the person to go to with his bag of gold right out of the gate. Yep. Literally.
And then we have Lucerys coming home. And he's trying to be like a grown man.
Guys, this was so good. And his acting was so good.
It was so good. Like, I almost teared up.
I definitely teared up.
Yeah, if I weren't, like, going through my own shit where I'm just, like, completely numb to everything, I probably would have cried.
Yeah.
But it was so touching. And the way his voice cracks when he's trying to deliver, like, the news of what he was able to accomplish and he can't get through it. And then she just comes up and he just, like, in her arms sort of does that thing you do where you sort of collapse a little bit. And they just sob and hold each other, and whew, yeah, emotional, very emotional, really well done scene.
The way that she clings to him, like, it's so good. Mm-hmm. I'll make the note here. He says Lord Cregan Stark promised us, and okay. I feel like that has to be that they were just at the wall to visit it.
Okay.
And that kid that took the stone out was not actually him.
Then that all tracks why he was wearing all his regalia.
Yeah.
And there's even a mention in their conversation too when Jace is talking about how our families have been, you supported us since the conquest. And the Stark kid says something about how my ancestor, whoever Stark, brought Aegon the Conqueror and somebody else to see the wall, and when he was telling the story, I didn't really clock it, but I guess it was meant more in like, this is like tradition for us, like you come and then we and so that makes it kind of make sense. So this is where, all right, so then we have Alicent lighting candles, and then we go right to Jace's funeral, and that's where I got all confused.
Not Jace, Luke's. Isn't it? Yeah, Lucerys.
Oh, right. Lucerys is the one who dies. Jace is the one who's living. Good God.
Right.
this is going to be difficult. I hope this
look,
it
difficult. Takes a little while to get into the swing of things. As soon as we have it down, the show will be ending for the season. That's always the way.
So, Allison lights 3 candles.
Mm-hmm.
She lights a candle for Viserys. She lights a candle for already that quickly it's gone. And then she lights a candle for someone named Allery Florent. Who that?
Allery.
Who is that?
I'm assuming her mother.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was just like, is that a who? What? Florence? What's Stannis' wife is a Florent? What is happening?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was her mom.
Oh, okay. All right, then that's fine. It just threw me off seeing that name because, I only know the Florence from Celise. And I was just like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute.
Hold up. Yeah, she does, the two of them. And then there's this long pause before she lights one for Lucerys Valerian. And I do enjoy the gesture of her, like, there being a moment of like, should I do this for like somebody who is my enemy and also somebody who my family had a hand in killing? And is this like even appropriate? And how do I feel about it? And it's just like the overall compassion winds up winning.
Yeah, I like that interpretation, that there's a compassion there, that also she's getting pushback every time she expresses sorrow.
Yeah.
And regret. So she can come to this place and acknowledge that, even if it's just between herself and her gods. Since everybody else is just basically telling her, shit happens.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I thought that this scene was really moving. And whoever is doing Rhaenyra's makeup is just excellent at making her look like she has been crying all goddamn day long. Like, they just keep giving her these red-rimmed eyes, and it's not like... There's nothing about it that feels... What's the word I want? Like, affected? It's just, she's just trying to get through the day without crying, and that's not happening yet. Yeah.
Should we talk? I guess that's not really that important, but the fact that the son that's living, so that's Jace, grew like 2 feet.
Did he?
He's so much taller
I didn't even
now.
notice.
He is so
That's the thing with teen boys. Like you cast them and then they shoot up. And oftentimes they don't gain any weight to go with it either, God. So they just look like they've been stretched.
Listen, watching Stranger Things over the seasons, the way them kids is growing and they trying to act like they're not growing.
Okay. All right. So then we have the scene where Daemon goes to hire Blood and Cheese.
Is that said in the episode? Is that the names?
Cheese's name is said, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if Blood's name is said. But
because that's horrible.
That's the name in the story.
In the books, Blood and Cheese.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he comes in and bribes Mr. Blood, Lord Blood, Senor Blood, and Blood pretends that Daemon is a prisoner that he's bringing in. Daemon just is like out there with his very recognizable hair.
Murder cloak in his hair blowing in the wind.
Sure, just put it in a ponytail and there would be a lot less people that would notice you, I promise. But whatever. So they get in there and they talk to Cheese, who's the rat catcher. And this guy, I did enjoy how Damon holds out the money to him, the money bag. He reaches for it. Damon pulls it back. And Cheese just sort of like laughs and nods to himself like, yeah, that makes sense. You do want to take that away from me. Like, we haven't made a deal yet. That's smart. And yeah, they want to hire him because he really knows the ins and outs of the Red Keep, because there's lots of like secret tunnels, and being a rat catcher, that is the way he operates every day. So yeah, he's got the inside scoop. You guys,
inside
this
scoop.
Is so David sits down and is like, I understand that you have a very special set of skills. And this guy's all fucking like, yeah, I know it all. And then Damon says, we want you to kill Prince Aemond. And he just stops eating, and there's this look like his brain just glitched. And Damon's like, he has silver hair and one eye. Like, he needs to tell him that. Oh, I love it so much.
Part of me was like, is it possible that the small folk don't know like one from the other? Like, there's no like social media. There's no like posters of them everywhere. Whatever, say there are royal portraits, there would be in the royal house. They wouldn't just be out on the street. So
I don't think that it's you're going to confuse the one with no eye with the one with two eyes. You don't need social media for that.
That's true. If you know one of yeah, that's true. You know that one's got one eye and one's got you're right. Right. And you know what? They did this thing, and this is I want to ask you about this specifically, about how it goes in the book. They say to Damon, "What if we can't find them? Mm-hmm. Find him?" And then the camera just kind of cuts on, like, there's a kind of a close up of Damon's face, but there's no answer. So when what happens ends up happening, I don't know if I'm supposed to be like, Damon told them, take whatever, or if they just say, well, one head is as good as any, and we'll just take this baby's head because this baby is who we found. And I know you told me that you would tell me later about how the actual murder scene itself is very different. Mm-hmm. In the book, does Damon tell them, take whoever you can get, or does he leave it open to, like, you know what I mean? Does Damon say, I don't care?
We don't know. All we know is that Damon talked to Miss Area, who used her people to do this. Oh, but we don't get enough information to know if he gave this extra.
So Damon doesn't even go to King's Landing in the book?
The book, remember, it's written like a history.
True. All right.
Instead of, so you don't get like blow by blows. You just find, like, Damon got Mysteria to do blah, and it's like very passive voiced, unless there's something about them being present that's like particularly necessary to mention.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. I wasn't sure if that was one of the things, the choices that the show was making and the reason I this stuck out for me is because I remembered from the first season that when Damon goes to meet his wife, the first wife,
the one whose head he bashed in while also wearing his murder cloak,
right? Like that, there were either like varying accounts of whether Damon did it or whether she just fell off the horse, or whether it was just
in the book. He had nothing to do with it. He didn't like her, but there was no possible way that he could have been involved.
Okay, so the show just does that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. All right.
The show is just trying to see how far they can push the fandom before people don't lust after Daemon Targaryen anymore. Mm-hmm. And it looks like still further. You got to push it still further, guys. I don't know.
I was wondering if they chickened out. Like, I was wondering if they were cutting out Damon being like, yeah, just take whatever you can get, because they don't want us to hate him.
No, I think if anything, they're trying to make, like, they wouldn't include that scene and cut it where they do if they aren't trying to tell us he gave them that instruction. To me. So I feel like at this point we can just kind of go through the whole rest of the episode. I guess there's one like remaining scene between Aemond and Kristen Cole when then Otto walks in. Because Aemond and Kristen feel like they need to go to war and like start really planning for this. And they know that nobody else is going to have their back on this. So they're just like low-key going to potentially do some shit themselves. Yeah. And Aemond, I guess, is just going to ask forgiveness.
And they're also talking about Alicent and, and how sort of like her word can't be like, she's not who we should be listening to. She's not ready to make the hard choices, that kind of thing. Fucking Otto walks in and is clearly threatened by this.
Yeah. If plans were being considered beyond the ears of your king and his hand, you have a zeal to act. I understand. I was young once. And Aemond says, I only wish to serve my king and my house. And I was like, well, where was that attitude when you're a dragon ate a little child?
Listen.
But, whatever.
This fucking shit too. Aemond says the queen speaks with two tongues, and fucking this face Christian makes. And then he goes right back to blaming Rhaenyra again.
Yeah.
Something about, what is it? The spider. She's a spider that weaves a web that catches us all. Some nonsense.
Yeah, it's very tiresome. We get it, dude. She didn't want to run away with you. Everybody knows about this by now. Please sing a different song. But yeah, he says, you have to rein in your impulses. We both know that your brother cannot, is what Otto says to Aemond in this scene. And I was like, is he trying to like drive a wedge between them on purpose? Like, and be like, you're not like your brother. You know what he's like.
I don't think it's necessarily to drive a wedge. But I think it is about trying to sidle up to Aemond and not just flatter Aemond, because Aemond does believe he's better suited for everything than Aegon is. And Aegon simply, by the luck of the draw, was born first and doesn't deserve any of the things that he's been given. And so he's appealing to Aemond's ego in this moment. Right down to like, you and your dragon are the greatest single power in the whole realm, This is just Otto playing people the way he knows how to play people. Yeah. In my opinion.
Oh my God, you guys. I had not even noticed. I was so focused on the men posing as rat catchers walking through the throne room that I didn't notice what they were talking about. Did you catch this?
Oh, yeah.
I totally missed this. Fucking Aegon is trying to come up with a better name because nobody knows what magnanimous means. You could be Aegon the Generous, and then Aegon says, I like that. And then one of them says Aegon the Dragonheart. Aegon says better. And then somebody else, Aegon the Dragon Cock. And Aegon says, yes, yes.
Yeah, he's got his little, his homeboys there. I don't know who these guys are. His they're not known.
His posse.
His posse, yeah. And they're all like just drunk and not paying the rat catcher any mind, which is why would you, right? There's also a line where somebody says, you can call yourself Aegon the Strong. And he says, my nephews already took that one.
Oh, I missed that. Nice. So, all right. now we've got pretty much like the rest of this scene. First, we have this little rat terrier, I'm assuming, that this dude uses for the job, who is very adorable and gets kicked for no reason later on. But this guy gets them to like a certain point and doesn't know how to go any further up. He, like, the royals are the ones that live upstairs, and apparently he doesn't ever go up there. It's off limits. Different group of rat catchers work the upstairs. And this dude is like, we're trying to kill a prince. Where the fuck do you think he was going to be? And he says, I got you in the castle. I thought the rest of it was your bit. Which I don't know why you'd think that, because you, sir, are the guy that is supposed to get them to the place. So why would you think that your job isn't fully to get them to the place? Listen, this
is a rat guy. Like, he
oh my God.
He can't be expected to
I don't know the ins and outs of all your clever plans. Fair. So he's just like, I know a way to get upstairs. And I was just like, all right, why did you need him to choke you before you knew? What do you mean?
I honestly think that he legit thought all he had to do was get him in the castle. And the reason I say that is because to this guy's mind, I am not an assassin. Like, you can't possibly think that I would be part of this part of the plot. Like, that's not what I do. Like,
I don't agree. He's told explicitly what Aemon looks like.
Yeah, I guess Daemon is talking to him, isn't he?
Like only to him, really.
I was thinking he was talking more to the commander. What's his name? Blood. Don't like that.
Blood.
But okay, all right. Then, I mean, when this happened, I was just like, this is very unprofessional.
Really? Yeah. And like, guys, when Daemon is talking to them, Rashawn is texting me, Daemon doesn't think this dumbass plan is really going to work, does he? And I was just like,
I thought it was a dumbass plan because I don't see you sending these two fucking yokels up to take out fucking Aemon Targaryen. Like, it just does not, like, yep. He's like, oh, he's very good with a sword, so be careful. Like, what? These guys are not, what? That's not, I thought it was a ridiculous plan, and I still think it was a ridiculous plan. However, I did not think that they would just take a baby's head, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, if Daemon had said, there's some toddlers I want you to take out, I'd have been like, all right, that's a plan. They can do that. But that's not what Daemon said.
Yeah, that's fair. So they managed to go, like, get into the room that Aemon had just been in. So they're on the right track here. I do enjoy the detail of Blood taking everything that isn't nailed down, if it'll fit in his pocket. He's like scooping all the coins off of the table.
Really is.
Yeah. You know, get it while you can get it. They just let that shit out.
He runs into a maidservant and she looks like she's not buying the story. So I thought that she was going to raise some alarms, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't. If she did, she didn't get to them nearly in time. It is sort of a weird thing that there are no guards outside the door where all of these royal people are chilling, you know? But yeah, I also thought that she would do something, and it seems like maybe she just saved her own skin. She was like, this guy is no good. I don't need to be here for this. And yeah, the way that he like tells her this story, bends to do his job, looks over and she's gone. And he just assumes like, oh yeah, she went to tell on
me. Right.
And he runs out after rolling the torch across the floor, which I also thought was going to wind up being like, oh, it's a fire. But no, that is nothing apparently.
He was having a real hard time with those rat traps too.
I have no idea how they work. I think that might have been the thing. Right?
Yeah, I think that's like he looks up and he's afraid that she's watching him, clearly not know what he's doing, and he is like and he's giving himself away, and that's why he goes chasing after her. But that girl is a ghost.
Yeah, she's got some eyebrows. That's all I can think about when I was looking at her. She's just really got that boy brow going on. So yeah, he overhears a kerfuffle in the next room, and it turns out to be Cheese with his knife at Helena's throat. Yeah. I can't get over this guy saying, "Who the fuck is she?" She's literally the queen. And he says, "Who the fuck is she?"
See? This is what I mean about like not knowing when I said earlier.
Yeah, but right? One of them has one eye missing. That's just moot.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, Cheese is like has his knife in such a way that Blood clearly thinks he's going to cut her throat. And Blood is like, he said a son for a son. That's not a son. And she says, not her, those two over there. And you see these two cribs and the baby's asleep in them. And they look pretty much identical. I thought Jaehaerys looked like a girl the first time and was thinking that was a girl and was wrong. So, this is... They ask her to point out which of the babies is the male instead of just
the one guy, the one with the knife, because Blood is like, which one is which? And then she says, look for a fucking cock. Mm-hmm. And then for some reason, Blood is like, the mother will know. Instead of, which it sounds weird that I'm advocating for a grown man to check the genitals of a toddler. However...
We're talking about expediency in committing a crime.
Right?
Yes.
But instead, they go back and force her to identify the child. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't sure she told the truth until I guess later when she tells them, that what's happened when she tells her mother.
It's a really weird moment that I don't understand why. So I'm going to tell you the way that this goes in the book. And I'm going to read this straight off of a wiki entry so that I don't miss anything.
All right.
Thanks to Cheese's knowledge of the Red Keep, the duo was able to infiltrate through a forgotten passageway. Cheese then led Blood into the heart of the Red Keep, avoiding the guards. Reaching the Tower of the Hand, they crept up through the walls before slipping into the chambers of Dowager Queen Alicent Hightower. There, they bound and gagged her while Blood strangled her bedmaid to death. Blood and Cheese then waited for the arrival of Queen Helaena Targaryen and her children, as the two assassins knew it was the queen's custom to take her children to see their grandmother before putting them to bed every evening. That night, when Helaena arrived with her 3 children, Blood killed her guard before proceeding to grab her eldest son, Prince Jaehaerys, while Cheese took hold of her younger son, Prince Maelor, who I guess is just not a thing? Maelor?
Yeah, I've only seen the 2 kids. I haven't seen a third baby yet.
Though Blood warned Helaena that she and her children would die if she screamed, it is said that the queen remained calm. When she demanded the identity of her 2 assassins, Cheese stated that he and Blood were debt collectors, and that a debt was owed, an eye for an eye, a son for a son. But he assured Helaena that neither she nor anyone else would be killed. When he asked her on which of her sons she wanted them to kill, the queen pleaded with them to kill her instead, which was turned down. Blood reminded her it had to be a son. Cheese told Helena that Blood will rape her daughter out of boredom if she didn't make the choice soon. When she is once again forced to make the choice, she chooses Maelor. It is unknown why Queen Helena chose her youngest son over the eldest. She believed maybe Maelor was too young to understand, or because it's Prince Jaehaerys, the king's firstborn son and heir. Seeing that she had chosen Maelor, Cheese whispered into the boy's ear, saying, "You hear that, little boy? Your mama wants you dead." He then grinned at Blood, which signaled the hulking man to kill Jaehaerys, decapitating the boy with a single swing of his sword.
So he kills Jaehaerys even though she picks Maelor?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that they can leave her kid with the knowledge that his mom chose him to be murdered.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't understand why they didn't do that part. They have her picking out a child, pointing at one, like they're referencing that she chooses a child in the original, but she's just telling them which is the boy, which they could figure out quite easily anyway. I don't get this. I really just don't understand this choice at all. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, all right, so for the scene itself, for the show, this is going to be a weird thing for me to say. But I'm just going to say it. I know murdering a toddler in its bed is horrific, right?
Mm-hmm.
But other than a sort of initial, like, oh shit kind of reaction, I didn't have like a very visceral reaction to this. Like, I felt like this was supposed to be much more shocking
than
it hit me. Like it, and I don't know exactly what it was. I don't know if it's because I don't, which makes me think the whole reason we got the whole Jaehaerys and the council scene and his cuteness and all that was so that this loss would maybe mean something to us and we would feel it in such a way, because otherwise we have no connection to these children. Helena is, while she's an interesting character for me because of how she's played, I don't know, like it was sad because it's sad, but it really wasn't like that disturbing to me or like that upsetting. And it I know it sounds like I'm saying that maybe it should have been more graphic, but it's not necessarily that I needed to see more blood or that I even needed the threat of raping, like, which apparently is in the source material, the threat of raping a toddler to make the scene hit for me. I don't know what it was, but it just sort of fell flat for me. And I'm not really sure why. I was just like, oh, that's fucked up. Yeah. But that was like kind of it. And
they've done like more fucked up things with children in scenes.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, they definitely have.
So,
and I know that they're in, so I don't know if the show, because there's really no good way to show the graphic murder of a child that's not going to be upsetting to people and turn people off. So maybe the show decided to pull back a little bit from how graphic it's been in the past. I don't know what they could have done differently to make this resonate with me more. As far as the source material goes, I don't know if I will say the only thing that feels like it adds something to it is the making her choose between two sons. You know, that would have added something to it. But yeah, for the most part, I don't know. And I think maybe it got maybe some things have been hyped in a way that I didn't realize I had been sort of internalizing. But there have been like lots of memes and jokes about how terrible this season's going to be as far as the acts that the people are going to perpetrate. You know, we're going to see people participate in just some really inhumane shit. And I guess I was expecting something more. I don't know. I don't know.
Did the scene that I just described to you sound like it would have been what you were expecting?
I mean, I think that, like I said, I think having Helena have to pick between two sons would have made it much more emotionally charged for me. I think too, like, it's funny too, because you read the source material and it says the queen was like very calm throughout it. So I guess she's playing it that way here. And she, like, there's this moment where she like tries to bribe them with her necklace, but neither what you read or what I saw are like really doing anything for me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said in the Discord that they pulled their punches, and I got a lot of responses of people thinking that I meant that they should have showed a child being decapitated, which was not what I meant at all. I meant that the fact that she is made to choose and they pick the other child for the simple, like, psychological effect of that kid knowing that his mother chose him to be killed, I think is like a truly devastating moment.
Is the child supposed to be old enough to have understood that?
It's unclear. Like, that's what, and they said, like, she may have picked the kid to be killed because they thought that he wouldn't understand what she was saying because he was so young. So, you know, but it's just the fact that she herself would live knowing that she said that in front of her kid and never really being sure, does he remember? Did he understand what that was? You know, like, I just find it really weird that they turned it into, like, tell us which is the boy when you can just check. And why wouldn't you?
I'll say this much about what I think is the disconnect for me is these two men don't like seem as menacing as they need to be. Like the whole, like, they got the job done and they sawed off a toddler's head, so, like, they're capable of being horrible. But something about the whole sequence is very sort of like bumbling to me. And like kicking the dog and like, I was only going to get you in a castle. I wasn't going to take you up to the royals. And then you know what I mean? There's not like a sinisterness that's like where I was just like, I fully, up until the moment they are in the room with the babies and they do the thing, I kept waiting for them to just fail because I never really believed they were going to pull it off. And it could, you know what I mean?
I definitely get that. And I think that, like, based on the way that it goes in the book, those two guys are real sadistic fucks. And these two, it's just like, they just don't have any morals, but they're not really getting enjoyment out of this.
Exactly. There doesn't seem to be any, like, glee.
Yeah.
And, like, so they're just not, like, I wasn't afraid of these two men, so I wasn't afraid of what they were going to do. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what they did wrong exactly, but there's just something about the sequence that just, I was, I don't know. Like, I'm going to use this bumbling again. There's something about it that just felt like so, like, amateur hour that I was never really, like, on the edge of my seat being, like, afraid for, like, oh my God, what are these fucking psychopaths going to do next? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's just another fumble. They keep taking these moments that I am looking forward to seeing how they pull it off on the screen, and then they just don't. And I don't know when I'm going to learn that I gotta like let go of the like excitement around particular plot beats, because they just never do them justice ever. I don't really understand what the reason for that is, because they wouldn't be difficult to do. They just don't do them. And I don't understand it. So I just have to accept it. I have to accept that I don't understand and know that that's just going to be, because this to me, I don't get it. Like the way, like you said, having it be this sort of bumbling thing, and the like having her offer her necklace, like in the book, she's like, kill me instead. In this, she's like, I have a necklace. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, don't you want the pathos of a woman who wants to save her children offering her own life? Like, none of these beats they changed needed to be changed, and they don't add anything by being changed. The main thing everybody was really leery about was how are they going to handle the child murder so that it's not like so fucked up that people can't get past it. And all you have to do is not show it. And they didn't, but then they changed other stuff too for no reason. So I don't get it. But what can you do?
There's a moment when she first points out, and the one guy is like, no, she wouldn't give up the heir that easily. It's got to be the other one. And then the guy like looks at her with prolonged eye contact, and he's like, no, she's telling the truth, because he can like see it on her face somehow.
Yeah.
And then she fucking takes the baby and runs out of the room.
And they just let her run.
Yeah, yeah.
They're still there, still murdering. Their knives are still in that child's body. And they're letting her leave.
Listen, she runs through the hallways to her mother's room, bursts, and there's nobody. There's, like you said earlier, there's not a guard to be seen.
Right?
On the royal floor for a reason.
It's like a quarter mile. She doesn't run into a soul.
And then, yeah, she burst into her mother's room, and her and Kristen Cole are getting it in.
Oh, my God.
And she just says they killed the boy. Yeah. Poor Helena, though. I do feel bad for Helena.
She's been put through it. It's really not fair.
But yeah. So, I mean, overall, I really did enjoy this episode. I didn't know that this was coming, right? So I didn't
come back to your mic.
I didn't have an expectation of exactly what I was going to get in this episode specifically. So I wasn't disappointed in any ways, because I didn't have anything to compare it to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. The ending, you know, we just talked about in depth, but overall enjoyed it. Really happy to be back. Really happy to be back with these fucking crazy ass people. And I'm here for dragons. I am also here for this graphic that HBO is doing, which I think is old, or I never noticed it, but it's like the Iron Throne, but it's got dragon eyes.
What?
Girl, yeah.
Where?
I don't know how to tell you where to go to. I have no idea what this is. It's just on my screen now. Like that. I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to you.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like the episode ended, and then it went to like the screen, and it's doing like next episode playing at the top, but I'm not watching that. And then the background graphic is like the Iron Throne, but with dragon eyes. And I have to say, it's kind of dope. So I'm just going to get a little snappy snap real quick for you.
I'm eagerly awaiting.
Yeah, like maybe if you go to the series page or something, it's floating around. There's like it's just HBO stuff. But anyway, yeah, I'm super excited for this season. and to talk about it. And I had texted you that I know I'm going to be more upset about the dragons dying than I am any of these people, and I stand by that. I'm probably will cry as dragons die. And I'll probably cry when Rhaenyra dies because I know.
This is what it sounds like. Yeah. I mean, all of these people just have their own unique brand of terribleness, you know, going on. It's so weird because, like, I said on Facebook in my usual saucy little way.
I saw that
I was gonna, just to be contrary, I was just gonna be Team Green.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I'm not exactly Team Green because Rhaenyra being shafted just because she's a woman is bullshit. But everybody that I saw arguing for Team Green initially was a lot of just internalized misogyny, like not like other girls shit that was very, very annoying. And so I argued in favor of Team Green initially just out of reflex to that shit. And eventually it turns into something else. But for me, I was very much like, ugh, come on, guys. It's the same like, oh, we hate Sansa because she likes wearing dresses, you know, like
I want to go on record. Every nice thing I said about Alicent in season 1, don't expect that this year. I got nothing nice to say about her. If anything nice to say to her about her is going to be because you brought up a really good point that I have to consider. But otherwise, I am fuck the Greens, fuck the Greens, fuck the Greens all day. All day.
I just I need to take the position that makes for the most interesting conversation, you know. So at this point, it's like what Rhaenyra has going for her beyond just actually being the heir that was established. Unfortunately, we have this whole thing with Alicent still thinking that her husband requested.
Oh, I don't like that.
I really hate this misunderstanding shit, guys.
I hate that
fucking
shit
hate
so
it.
Much. I wish that and I think we said this. I wish she had just been like, he's dead, and I want it for my son. So I'm gonna just say this is what happened instead of this whole he thinks he's talking to Rhaenyra and she doesn't understand and he's the blah 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 blah. Because then it forever gives Alicent the character safe quarter. Right? You can never really blame her because she really believes, which, you know what I mean? And what I would like, and it's probably way past the time for this, but I would love for there to be a moment where Alicent has to be like, did I misunderstand him? Like, I don't know how it would happen. Maybe no, for real talk. I
know, I believe you, but that is such a funny, oh God.
I don't all right, maybe, because he never talked about Aegon's dream or vision or whatever the fuck it is, right? Viserys, I mean. But, maybe somebody else starts talking about that shit. And Alicent is like, Aegon's what now? His vision, the prince was oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to mention too, I got a little bit of a squeal when at the beginning of the episode and they're at the wall and they start talking about, and there's that line about, do you really think we built a 700-foot wall to keep out weather? And I was like, oh shit, we talk about the thing. We talk about the thing. So yeah, I like that. I like the little shout out, little tie in, and it does tie into the prophecy about protecting the realm from this other great threat that's coming. So maybe that will, I don't know how they would shoehorn that into what's happening with the dragons now, because it doesn't matter. But I just liked that was mentioned while they were at the wall. I was like, oh, okay. All right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very interested. The blood and cheese scene was something that a lot of people were really into, and I don't know if anybody was aware it was happening right away. I didn't know it was going to be at the front of the season, like in the very first episode. So, and that's been sort of a theme with the way that they have adapted the previous section's worth of story as well, is they jump in time quite quickly to things that I think are going to take a lot longer to get to. So I'm really interested, like by the end of the season, where we're going to be, because they may do, like, I know we're not doing any more like 10-year time jumps like, you know, we did in the last season.
Oh, okay.
But they may do some shorter jumps, a month, you know, I don't know. So I'll be curious how much of the story they can fit in, because I don't have a good idea on whether they intend the show to be like, I know that there's a third season that's been approved.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if that is planned to be their last season, or if they're gonna like segue into a different story, you know, or if they're just gonna end it where it ends and then start a different spin-off series. I'm curious about it.
That's weird. I thought for sure that it would just be the 1 and 2 seasons. So now I'm like, well, does that mean they're going to split this in half and this whole war is not going to come to a head in this season? Because that's what I was expecting. Oh. I
mean, they may come to a head more than once.
I thought you were going to make a Christian Cole joke.
Oh, God. I didn't even think of that.
Anyway,
I'm really losing my steez.
You're better. You're better for not having done that. My apologies for even suggesting it. Girl.
All right. Well.
Oh my God, that reminds me when I was doing the rewatch and we got to the coronation, y'all. I was by myself, obviously, because Steven doesn't watch this. When they got to the coronation, he had to put that crown on Aegon's head. I booed the screen. I just started booing.
I've done that. There's been a couple times where I've just been listening to an audiobook and I'm like at the store in a group of people and like somebody who needed to get got, and I just go, "That's what you get." Like out loud. Nobody around me knows what I'm talking about. I just sound like I'm being very aggressive to this box of spaghetti. All right, real quick, I want to say hi to new patrons this week. I think I haven't said hi to new patrons in a minute, so forgive me, guys. That's my bad. But we are going to go ahead with the good one. Yeah, I'm going fast and loose with these sound effects. We have got Catherine Oppenheimer, Rose, Mel, Bryce H52, Ryan, Gill, Jessica Maloney, Bessie Knight, William Verduce, and Tegan and Isabel D. Welcome to all of you.
Yay, welcome.
I really appreciate you. If you're interested in supporting the show like these fine people, please go to patreon.com/unspoiled. Oh my God, this is a 2-hour and 27-minute episode. Y'all, yeah, you better go to Patreon and pay us back for this time. This is ridiculous. We don't need to be doing this for this long. That is so long. Do you guys like it when it's this long? That's what she said.
Anybody does.
Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
Was an Unspoiled Network podcast.